Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White, your host of Keeping It Real on Purpose. And we're so glad to have with us today a special guest. And we're going to be talking about some really good stuff. I meet some amazing people here on this show, and I want to bring them here to tell you and to talk to you about things that we often go through that we have to really keep it real so that we can go to the next level of our lives. And I welcome today none other than Kelz Morris-Dale to our show.
Hi, thanks for having me, Edna. So good to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here. Loving your shirt. I'm loving the vibe of it's so boatish, and you're out in the boat. I get that feel, from you, but I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So tell us
Thank
about
you.
you and what you're doing and where you are.
Oh goodness. So I'm originally from New Zealand. If you've heard
Okay.
the term Kiwis, I actually tend to call myself Kelz the Kiwi. It's kind of a nickname for our homeland, Kiwis.
Okay.
So I've been we're flight. It's funny, Edna, because we're a Kiwi bird is a flightless bird. Yet Kiwis, New Zealanders are all around the world. Like we travel, we're everywhere,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been living in the US for almost 13 years now. I moved over here with my then husband. He was an American,
Okay.
and we brought our two girls and four dogs over. It was a big
Oh Lord, four
ordeal.
dogs. Oh
Yeah,
jeez.
yeah, but it was really fun. But some stuff happened in my life. My dad passed away. Just after we had my son who was born over here. So he died in 2013 and we got here in 2012. So just over a
Right.
year after we got here. And that
Right.
kind of like went me on a kind of like I call it my awakening. And I actually wrote about it and the book that I co-authored. I've got a book here, Manifesting Magical Moments. And that
Oh nice.
his passing was like the awakening, but it was also a catalyst for me making a lot of changes in my life
Okay.
that have had pretty at times it feels like catastrophic recurrent like events, but they've actually been part of
Yeah.
as I keep saying, awakening me and making me realize that,
Yeah.
I'm not living my, best life or the best version of I'm not being the best version of myself or living the life that I really, really want. So I'll call this, am I allowed to swear a little bit on here, Edna? I'm a Kiwi and we tend to say a few little F-bombs every now and again. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, because the chapter in my book is called my epic adventures in unfuckery. So I'm
Okay.
on this adventure to just like unlearn all the negative traits in my life and then kind of relearn what is intuitively the right thing for me.
Okay.
So it's been a journey. So when my dad passed, I found Reiki, the healing modality that really
Hmm.
came to me in a strong way. I had no idea about it. I was not woo woo person at all. Like I was not spiritually minded at all, but it awakened another aspect of me that I really loved that modality.
Okay.
It connected me with people because I was very a bit of a standoffish person. Like in conversations, I would defer to my then husband. I had no ability to speak for myself, which has
Okay.
completely changed now because I don't shut up ever. And
Okay.
so Reiki came into my life, and it was gorgeous because I was able to help myself. I don't like to say heal, but I let it, do these things for me
Hmm.
that unlocked my ability to speak to others, to connect with others, to see what I needed to do for my transformation journey, and for others to benefit them. Like it was a whole holistic benefit, like
Right.
mind, body, soul, like all of it, and it helped my
Okay.
kids. I've got three kids, and I taught my girls level one Reiki, so they were able to like self-regulate their emotions, and just brought them a little bit
Right.
closer to me, which is beautiful as well. So I
Hmm.
went on that journey, and so with Reiki, and then I got divorced, which was a huge, huge deal when you're
Right.
living in a different country with no family
Right.
around.
Right.
And that led me on to other things. I had to suddenly get a real job. Like, ended up going back into a corporate environment after being a Reiki practitioner for a while, and that was such a challenge. But I embraced it. And I got right up
Okay.
to, I started off as an executive assistant for a real estate company, real estate investment
Okay.
company rather, and then became the COO, Chief Operations Officer after a few years. So that was huge. That like for going from like married, not the breadwinner, to suddenly like taking care of my side of the family, the kids,
Right.
half on, half off, and got to that level. I was able to buy this house that I'm in now. So I did all the
Okay.
things like on paper, it looked like I had it, babe, like six figures, doing so well,
Right.
but I wasn't happy. I wasn't doing what, once again, what was true to myself. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I ended up resigning and went back to my Reiki roots, wanting to be a mentor and help other women, real huge into mental health advocacy, and kind of building my own network and collaborating with people and working on the inline space now. So I've come
Right.
like, because I started off in corporate when I was younger, went into the Reiki, went back into corporate, and kind of come round full circle
Full
into,
circle. Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
Mm.
you must do it yourself, Edna, like trusting what is, I mean, you're a life person, a purpose business, you've got conductor there or coach or whatever you want to call it. You
Right.
know that your life purpose is so important. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my ethos too. Do what
Yeah.
feels right. Like don't just suffer doing something just because it's for money or the recognition
Right.
or whatever it is,
Right.
it has
Right.
to be what works for you, and,
Absolutely.
and your family. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's in a
So
nutshell.
take us back. I like this. Now take us back to how Reiki really impacted your life. I know you said it was after your dad, but
Yeah.
paint a picture of it. Like, what did you do with it? That started to crack the egg open, so as it were.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. So my dad had passed away a little while ago. I kept seeing these numbers come up. I didn't really understand angel numbers, if you've heard of them, the recurring
Yes,
numbers, three,
yes,
three.
yes.
I think people are kind of in tune with that kind of now, and it's kind of fun, like to see those numbers come up. And I was so things happen in threes. Threes are like something that must be my intuition guide, if you like.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
I heard somebody mentioned Reiki to me, and I was curious what it was. And then I overheard a conversation. So someone actually talked to me about Reiki. I overheard a conversation. Then out of the blue, I got invited to a Reiki retreat for a couple of
Okay.
days to learn level one Reiki. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, let's just do this. And so I had no really idea. I didn't really research ahead of time. I find if I do that, I can get, at the time, I would be disappointed if it didn't meet my expectations,
Right.
all that kind of thing. So I just went along to it with like just um, no attachment to it.
Okay.
I had a bloody cold sore, and I'm a shy person, and so me having a cold sore on my lip, I was like, oh God, people, they're gonna see
I
me.
think a
It's
cold
gonna
sore
be
for anybody is like, oh
oh
God.
oh yeah. So I was like, oh, do I still go? But I'd
Yeah.
made arrangements to go with my mother-in-law at the time. So I was like, I didn't like letting people down. That's like my people pleasing
Mm-hmm,
personality.
mm-hmm.
So I went along to it. It was way out of town. It was in some like hippieville kind of area. And it was in a teepee. And I was like, what have I got myself into? At this time, like, didn't not really embracing my spirituality at all. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
was just like weird for me. Like, what have I got myself into?
Yeah.
Anyway, they did this whole like meeting each other thing, and everybody was talking about themselves, and I'm like, it goes around in a circle. I'm like, I'm not saying anything about myself. I don't want to talk. This is horrible. How do I get out of here? This feels like doing speech contest at school, and I'm going to be in the spotlight, and it's going to be horrible. Well, when it
Right,
got
right.
around to my turn, something happened. I don't know if the energy, the Reiki healing
Right.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
I know now that my Reiki master teacher, she was infusing the space with the Reiki energy, like life force energy. And I
Mm-hmm.
just opened up and I just went "Bleh," about a whole lot of stuff. And I didn't even know
Okay.
I had it in me. So that literally, as you said, cracked me open, and I became really vulnerable, but got so much great feedback and connection and just love from everybody. And at
Okay.
the end of the day, some lady had like she had some oils and stuff and made me up a compression, like a little thing for my cold sore. So
Okay.
my cold sore disappeared the next day. Like, it was just all this magical shift because I allowed myself to just be vulnerable and accept this beautiful energy. And yeah, like, I literally changed my perspective on a lot of stuff in one moment. Like, sharing isn't a bad thing. Like, sharing really can help a lot of other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Changed my mindset and realized that I am worthy. I didn't really like myself back then. And if I'm a conduit for this beautiful healing energy, lifeless energy,
Mhm.
then, like, it's not about me, it's about that, but it's also about being able to show other people that they're actually a beautiful vessel themselves, that they can self-heal, you
Sure.
you do all that stuff. So I mean, that's like bonus. And not only does it help other people while I'm giving Reiki, I get the benefits of it as well. So it was just
Right.
like a win, all the wins. And I was
Right.
like, it just lit me up. It was like
Right.
the fire got lit in me,
Mhm.
pretty
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah.
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 I know that, I didn't know what it was. I tell you, I was living in China for about a year, and
Oh, wow.
they practice, they practice the warming of the hands. Like, so I was
Yeah.
working, I was working, I worked 3 days a week. So, all the teachers would get together. Let's go do massages. Let's go treat ourselves because we had 10
Yeah.
hour days. So we go on Sundays, and I would, so I indulged in it all. I was like, give me the full treatment. I wanted a massage, I wanted cupping, and I wanted this healing. And I remember the guy doing this, warming his hands. And I just remember that, and I could feel like release, but I knew what it was. It was energy. It was like complete energy. Like, it was just amazing. And it was like it released the day for me. Like, it was like, yeah, I gotta have that. I gotta have that all the time. The massage is great, but that Reiki, it was just so different. And how it just, I wasn't touched. Couple, when this happened, hands just gliding over me, and he would say something. Well, I couldn't really speak, Mandarin at the time as well, but I would have somebody in there, and he would be saying, "This is something that's going on here." You explain
Mhm.
it, all of that stuff. But one thing I remember him saying, "You're free now," because when I went, I left New York because there was so much life going on, and had no balance, no work-life
Mhm.
balance, none of that. I had
Mhm.
none of that, and it was just all over the place. Just got newly divorced, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was just this whole thing was going on, and for that to happen, it started that change for me, like you did. It started that change. I didn't know what it was, but it
Mhm.
started that, and I never equated that change for me there with
Mm.
Reiki, and then, and being released until I'm speaking to you right now.
I
Right
love
now.
that. I
Yeah,
love that. And
so
it's like a little analogy, like a simple analogy. It's like a car running out of gas. Like, the
mhm,
life force energy you need to top up. You need to
yeah,
fill up with gas in order to go. So you could
yeah,
be stuck or releasing stuff that, like, maybe you've got a bad oil change. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
cleaning you out holistically, every part of you. So
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
love that for you. I love that for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just realized it now as you're talking. How
Yeah.
do you now we're now you're in a different space now, and you have the children, you have the dogs, you have the house, you're in a different, space, doing what you love doing. How do you make that balance still? Because I know sometimes for me, even working in what I love, I can overdo it. How do we
Mhm.
get back? How do we do that?
Well, I'm lucky, because of my past life. I've done everything. Like, I've done everything, but I
Yeah.
was a professional organizer. So for me, scheduling is hugely important.
Yeah.
Really, like, even I have time for my business. I only schedule in 2 full hours for my business in a day, but I do stuff throughout. But so
Right.
I schedule in dropping the kids off, picking them up, their
Mhm.
extracurriculars. I schedule in watching a movie with them or cooking dinner,
Right.
and having a catch up. Like I put
Right,
all
right.
that in, so my schedule can look like a crazy, colorful mix, the rainbow. But that keeps me like I know that I'm going to fit the kids in as a priority. I never
Mhm.
sit. I never sit. They might be on their phones. Like luckily, my youngest, he's 11, doesn't have a cell phone yet. But
Right.
we try and put down the phones if we're all together. And
Yes.
I do the same. Like I'm not one of those, parent. Like so many of us that I used to do it too. Like scroll and look at stuff. I don't do that
Yeah.
now. It's kind of it's just I found it. I've made it boring. Like I don't even want to do it. Like ugh, that's
Right.
boring.
Yeah. I
So
don't either. I used to do it a lot. I used to do it a lot just to, like to try to catch up on all the goings on,
yeah,
and it really you start going on too. You start like, oh,
yeah.
like it
There's
starts to
too
kind of
much.
muddy the waters as it were.
Yeah. So we
Mhm.
have we do like play things like Monopoly Deal or card games or
Gotcha. Yes,
plays.
absolutely.
So we I have that balance. Like I want things to be fun. I want there to be joy. Like
Yes.
I
Love
always
fun.
try,
Yes.
yeah, try and put even like a dance. Like
Love it.
it's a funny thing I started on my Facebook. No, it was on Instagram. I just did these little stupid little dance moves that embarrass my kids. Like I
Mhm.
can't dance. This girl cannot dance at all, but I have fun with it. So I started doing that, and people were commenting. So every morning now, I haven't done it today. Every
Right.
afternoon, we'll say I do a little dancing and write my little post for the day about
Yes.
something
Me too. Right.
unrelated to my dancing, but it brings me joy. It's something
Right.
funny. One bloody day, I forgot to put the sound on, so I just told everybody to hum along and gave them some options for some music to play in the background. I mean, it was like a funny
Yeah.
reel, but
Awesome.
so I think the balance is there really at times isn't a balance because some things do need to take priority. Like my kids are my priority until they leave for
Yes.
college, right?
Yes.
So my business, my connections with other people, everything is scheduled in around them. They're my priority now. But
Right.
holy heck, when they bugger off to college, Gals is going to be like connecting
Yeah.
and walking and doing the things and traveling and then turning up at their
Yes.
place with my
Yes.
minivan, RV, and park outside their place for 30 days at a time and
Yeah.
then go on to the next kid. I don't
Yes.
know. Like so the balance shifts. Like it
Yeah.
has to
Yeah.
for what works for me, for what works for
Mhm.
me and my
Right.
family.
Right.
Yeah. And so me,
Yeah.
sorry, one last thing.
Sure.
For me, giving up that corporate world where I had to be in meetings, Zoom meetings all day long.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was
Yes.
horrible. And I work from home and I was trapped behind
Yes.
the
Trapped.
door
You were
and
trapped. It's like, yeah, trapped.
oh, so I was like, oh, hi guys, I'm here, but I'm in a meeting. Love you. Like hearts, like heart. How many times can we heart? I don't take meetings when they're at home
Yeah.
anymore. I'll
Yeah.
take them in the evening if they're doing their homework or something, just
Yeah.
because. But I'll
Yeah.
I'll always coincide it with them being busy. So
Right.
that's what's working for me.
Right. That's good. So working with a lot of women, and I know you probably do, from 35 to like 50 or so. We are now in that realm. We hate our jobs, and I've seen so many women, you know stay on jobs that they hated and then become sick, once
Mhm.
they retired or quit, or even during that job, they've
Yep.
gotten sick and with cancer. And I'm not saying it's
Mhm.
always the case, but they get sick or they're miserable, they don't know what to do. How do you now You're now an empty nester. I'm an empty
Mhm.
nester. When I became an empty nester, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I know for me, I started to try to prioritize myself. But now I'm in a different realm because I am 1 year from being 60. So it's different.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Some of my friends have slowed down, a little bit more,
Mhm.
and their life has changed for them. Now I'm this single person. What do I do now? How do we navigate that now with our business, and how do we fulfill having that fun and all of that now? Because I know a lot of my audience would love to know that.
Oh, that's a huge one. And for me, I'm getting older has actually been such a blessing because you do need to slow down, and I've
Yeah,
wanted to slow down naturally, and
yeah,
you're more discerning about what you say yes to and what you want to do, and you
Yes,
do. It's like naturally a progression to prioritize your health. Like it becomes it
absolutely.
because it's not that easy doing stuff unless you're looking after yourself. And I got hit with a melanoma scare. I had melanoma on my shoulder,
Okay.
and got a big chunk of my arm cut out. And that was kind of like an awakening call. Like, oh gosh, like I'm not,
Yeah,
like, infallible, like, I something could happen to me, so it put me
yeah.
in this whole mindset of all of it, like, my health became a priority, my
Mhm.
wealth became a priority because I
Right,
wanted to set
right,
generational or legacy wealth in place for my kids. I don't
right,
want them to be lazy buggers, I want them to earn their keep, but I also wanted to provide.
right,
So it was connecting with the right people,
right.
finding a business model that allowed me to do the wellness aspect, which is what I do, and the mental health aspect as well for me is sharing and connecting with people. Like I do,
Yeah,
I'm part of Oversharers Anonymous. I share a lot about my journey because I feel like it helps people in their own journey not feel alone.
right.
I just did a big post yesterday, on the other 2 days ago, about not having my mum in my life. My
Yeah.
choice. I had to let her go from my own health and well-being, and so
Mhm.
that connection has found other women going through the same stuff at the same stage in life, and also sharing about menopause or perimenopause or premenopause, all the
Right.
pauses, dealing with that. Like just having discussions with people has been huge. And I think it's knowing that you're not alone and that you can be
Yeah.
seen at every
Mhm.
stage of your life. We're not invisible because we're getting older. We have a voice still, and it's a really
Right,
powerful voice because people really want to hear about. We know so much. We've gone through so much. We
right.
have the intel. We've been through it, so we
Yeah,
can scoop you up, give you a hug, give you a ride along with us as we continue on our messed up
yeah.
journey. It's
Yes,
messy.
absolutely,
It's so messy.
absolutely.
So messy. So for me, specifically, it was I needed to be in alignment with what I did for work that had to be health and wealth focused and the
Mhm.
right connections because you are who you are surrounded by. And I'm surrounded by a beautiful community, not all women, but a lot of women. And we're just each other's best cheerleaders, but we're also encouraging and empowering. Like there's not just, oh yeah, let it all out. It's okay, share your shit and
Right.
then
Yeah, yeah.
no, it's
The
like how to get
generics, yeah.
how to get a better mindset, the training, the
Yeah,
education, all of that. You need to keep learning and growing at every stage of your life, and
yeah.
that's so, so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lifelong learners. And one thing I
Mhm.
have learned along this way, after living in China and coming home and eating,
Mm.
eating is different for me at this stage because I eat to live. Can't eat
Mhm.
like I was 18 or 20 or 30. I got to eat to live. And that's a big transition. It's
Yeah.
a big transition because some things are just not good for you, hormonally for us.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the biggest thing that I found out, chicken was my downfall. I'm not,
Ah.
yeah, hormonally, um, my nutritionist said to me, "Hey, she's asking me, I'm giving her all the history of what I eat, and that was my favorite thing is chicken. Everything was chicken. Everything was chicken. Everything." And I said, I'm exercising every day. I'm not losing weight. I'm not sleeping.
Mhm.
What the heck is going on? And when she saw my I guess my dietary log, she was like, "It's the chicken. I want to tell you
Mm.
the antibiotics that they put into the chicken, no matter what, it's affecting you." And I'm going to tell you maybe 6 to 8 months, I've been able to jump out the bed without, you know,
Wow.
muscle pain, anything like that. And I had a horrific accident that, rendered parts of my body limited, and I don't feel that. I mean, I'm back to myself. Like, and I couldn't believe it that something that small that we would think about intertwining with my own hormones, stopping me from losing weight, making me stay awake at night, things like that. Make hot, I was sweating all the time,
Oh yeah.
which is horrible. But just learning to, eat to live, which is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
important.
I love that. And it can be as simple as one little change. For me, it was my water intake.
Yeah.
The water is so disgusting in a lot of places. Even the bottled water isn't
Yeah.
great. So I got onto the Kangen water, which just translates from Japanese into back to origin. So
Okay.
it's a machine that makes the water ionized and
Right.
has all
Ionized. I
these
was gonna say,
yeah
yeah, yeah.
yeah yeah, it's a lot of molecular hydration and stuff. So
Yes.
it really, like, I didn't drink water. I drank coffee and tea. It has water in it, but I would never drink. I would never just drink water because I hated the taste of it, and it always makes you so full. Like you'd glug
Yeah.
it and you'd be like, ugh. But the
Yeah.
Kangen water, it's really the molecular structure is different, and it doesn't make you feel that way, and it's anti-inflammatory. So I don't get.
Yes.
I can't make any medical claims, but I haven't been sick for a long time, and I feel
Yeah.
so much better. It's better for
Yeah.
my skin. It's
Yeah.
better for every aspect. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
You're
get you.
right.
Like I didn't. I one little thing you don't doing chicken and me changing to this water has improved my quality of life
Yeah.
remarkably. So
Yeah.
yeah, just everybody needs
Absolutely.
to tweak one little thing. Yeah,
One little thing.
one little thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And it's so very important. And with that work-life balance, eating should be in there too. you know,
Yes.
eating should be in
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Because there has to be a balance, because everything, affects your body and long term,
Hmm.
long term and longevity, it affects it. So it's important to have that in there too, and have those little breaks or pauses to, like,
Yep.
just like you reevaluate your marriage or your relationship, and have those reevaluate where you are, whenever 10 years goes past. Hey, what do I need to do different? It's like staying
Hmm.
in the 80s, dressing in the 80s, and you're in the 2000s. It's like, I don't know. you
Yeah.
know?
I love that reevaluation. And yeah,
Yeah.
just be in tune with yourself. Like I wasn't
Yes.
sleeping very well. Like yourself was like all the hot flashes, all that stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, you put up with it because you go to the doctor, they're like, oh, that's so normal. I'm like, that is not
Not
normal. That
normal.
feels so horrible. If that, no, thank you. So I was that friend who was like, "What are you
Yeah.
taking? What are you taking? What do you take? I'll try that. I'll try that. I'll try that."
Yeah.
And I found a magnesium drink thing to take at nighttime. I
Yeah.
think it's called Moon Brew. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
called, but it's
Magnesium at
and I
night. Yep.
yeah, and I have a scoop of that. It's chocolatey. It tastes amazing. No more
Yep.
wine at nighttime. I have my little routine, and I
Yeah.
do feel a lot better in the mornings. And in the morning, I have a tea that I drink that's supposed to be good for menopause
Yes.
symptoms as well.
Absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't have needed to take that in my 20s. So you need
No.
to reevaluate when you're in your 40s, 50s, and more
Yes.
what
Absolutely.
what you need to do to feel good, because we shouldn't suffer. We're not supposed to suffer. Things aren't supposed to
No.
be that hard.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like literally doing, like, they have a bias and scan when you're doing Reiki, and it's literally just going through yourself, like, well, where does it feel like? Is my back sore? Go to the chiropractor. Okay,
Yes.
if I having chest issues, go see your doctor about your
Right.
heart. Like, just
Right. Right.
you should. Stress comes out in a lot of ways,
Right.
and it is good to eat well,
Yes.
but it's sleep, it's mental
Right.
health activities, it's
Right.
meditate, it's all the things. You've got to
Yes.
just figure out
Absolutely.
what tops you up properly.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's really good. That's really good.
yeah.
If there was one thing that you could take out of everything you know, what would you share with my audience right now, or anything that you kind of culminated from this conversation?
Oh goodness, I just feel like it wasn't really anything we touched on, but everybody is a beautiful being just as they are. I think we're
Yeah.
always trying to do for others. Just come back to yourself and figure out yourself first, because if you're in a good space, you're going to
Yes.
be the best version for everybody else as well,
Yeah.
not just you. So keep
Absolutely.
yourself full of joy. It
Yep.
would be what I would say. Find joy. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard from Kelz herself. This is Edna White and my esteemed guest, Kelz Morris-Dale, we're going to say goodbye for now.
Thank you. Bye.